Good morning. I am Rusty Justice from Pikeville, Kentucky, an unapologetic hillbilly. I say that wherever I go. When Sam told me I was following Phil, the smoothest guy, cooler than the backside of the pillow, as they say, I told him last night at dinner, I said, I feel like you're Sean Connery in a Bond film, and I'm Jim Barney, and Ernest Goes to Camp in a double feature. So Phil said, and you would expect this from him, I don't know who that is, but I guess that's a compliment. So, you know, he's too cool to know who Ernest Goes to Camp, but he does know James Bond. There's a little video we'd like to show you. Our friends from Kentucky to the World have prepared for us. They're really a wonderful group out of Louisville, and kind of states the challenge.
Kentucky, the bluegrass state, home to verdant pastures, rolling hills, diverse forests, and fertile farmland. Our state has no shortage of plants, animals, and crops, with an abundance of room to grow. Why do things grow so well in Kentucky? We're fortunate to have just the right set of conditions: temperate climate, abundant rainfall, fertile soil. Our environment allows life in our state to thrive and our plants and animals to flourish. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for Kentucky's entrepreneurs and innovators. In fact, a recent study by Bloomberg ranked our state 46th in the country for innovation. Unlike our natural ecosystem, our entrepreneurial ecosystem has begun to shrivel and wilt. Make no mistake, the problem isn't that we don't have the right raw materials here in the bluegrass. Our people are smart, creative, and capable. The problem is that we haven't had the right conditions for innovation to thrive. Too often, our entrepreneurs and innovators feel isolated and unsupported. Efforts across our state have been disconnected and unfocused, leaving our innovators unsure of where to look for resources. These conditions have made vital members of our economic ecosystem feel unwelcome, and worse, stifling entrepreneurial efforts in our state altogether. These conditions have to change, and we'll have to collaborate to get there. At Accelerate Kentucky, we're trying to do just that. Our mission is to create a safe place where innovative minds are heard, welcomed, and inspired. We're connecting forward-thinking Kentuckians who are already working on making our innovation ecosystem better. Together, we can create the set of conditions for our entrepreneurial ecosystem to flourish and make Kentucky a better place to be an entrepreneur. Kentucky, the blue.
So the thing I want to talk about, and Sam's asked me to speak to you about this morning, is what it's like to be an entrepreneur in Kentucky. And Lynn and I started BitSource, and you know, two coal guys, don't really know anything about tech. We just, you know, we wanted to create a company that would bring economic opportunity to our region. And we've had a lot of support, and a lot of you in this room have been helpful in that journey, but it's still been a really tough slug. And the reason is not that any one person has done anything wrong. People are really doing things, a lot of good things, but it's not coordinated. And so when the opportunity, when Luke came to me to ask me to serve as the entrepreneur's chair on the REAP team, I was really hesitant. It was just such a time commitment away from our businesses and you know, making our companies grow. But just having that firsthand experience of what it's like to try to do a startup in Kentucky, you know, two guys that have run a lot of businesses, met a payroll every Friday for decades, to see what it was like to do a startup and all the challenges, all the resources we needed that did not exist. And even a lot of times the help we got or assistance or advice was well-intended but not useful. And the purpose of creating a company that generates a profit and to create wealth and jobs in Kentucky. How do we do that? So we're here. Everyone in this room was invited here today because you're what we call the pragmatic idealist. You know, we have to use common sense, but we have to have some bigger vision. And Accelerate Kentucky is that must-win battle, we think, if we're truly going to change the dynamic in our state. It's a great place. It has so much to offer, but it is not a welcoming place for innovators. And I can say that with firsthand experience. And so we need to get smart on what an innovator and an entrepreneur needs. We all need to do that, myself included. And then we need to figure out ways to go forward. The learnings we've gained in this program, I think, are useful, and our state has invested a substantial amount in our education. And we're here, we felt obligated to share that. The taxpayers' money paid the tuition for us to attend, as along with some private investment and support that we received, not just taxpayer money, but people put money into this effort. And you know, we committed our time, our resources ourselves, but you guys invested in this as well. And so we just felt it's really important. So I encourage you to study the REAP plan, learn what an IDE is, what an SME is. And so Lynn and I have a company called Jigsaw, which is an applied engineering company. It does a lot of design, build type work and digs holes in the ground. It's really a simple way to say it. But we've been trying to convert that to an innovation-driven enterprise. Now, how would you do that? An old company that's in its fourth decade that digs holes in the ground. Well, you can do it, and we are doing it, and we're starting to see some revenue coming from things just as simple as launching a website. Leveraging technology to access external markets is an innovation-driven enterprise. A website is the first level to do that. But we've worked on other things as well. But as we transitioned that business, BitSource was an innovation-driven enterprise. It is an example of a displaced workforce transitioned given skills, but still you have to have markets. You have to have connection to markets. You have to have these opportunities to access the greater global market. In Appalachia, there's just not enough of us if we're just going to sell to one another. It won't work. We have businesses that are successful there that aggregate, but if we have a diminishing population and out-migration, that is a recipe for disaster in the long term. We have to start launching and building businesses in our places and all of rural Kentucky, urban Kentucky, and we have to grow those businesses, and they will then generate the opportunity for people to have the donut shops and coffee shops that we all enjoy. So anyway, that's just a very short talk on a little bit of my learnings. I'm honored to be here, and I really appreciate all of you. It shows really how much you care, and it really gives me great pride to see the number of people from the East that have driven a long way to be here, and I thank you.